This is FightFans Radio.
Microphone here. Welcome. Brand new episode, FanAddicts MMA show. I am your host, Erica Lewis. I am joined today by my usual partners in crime, Justin Cohey and David Wolf. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
And our special guest, but not that kind of special, like the good kind of special, Tommy Toho. What's going on, Tommy?
Hey, what's up?
So you are literally big man on campus now. Every time I look at your Twitter accounts, you're having conversations with people that wouldn't give me the time of day in a watch factory. So congratulations on that, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, it's been weird. A lot of people I never expected to talk to myself. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun.
Now I don't know if you've heard of this person yet. MMA Roasted. Have you seen any of MMA Roasted stuff on there? He's not. I wouldn't say he's trying to be you at all. Although he does have a YouTube channel where it's a similar kind of style. You do it 20 times better. But have you had a chance to check out any of their stuff? I don't even know if you have time to check out other people's stuff at all.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I follow him on Twitter as well. Yeah, he's a comedian too, and when I first started getting into it, I noticed his stuff because a lot of people started, making comparisons and stuff like that, and he's a really good guy. But yeah, I have noticed that. And there's a couple other people that are kind of in that category too of MMA comedy as well. But I feel like I'm doing it the best.
So far, I think you've proven that you are doing it the best. You seem to have had. We always talk about the success you've had with Tommy Tohold, and how has we first talked to you when you just made the move over to Crave. Now you've had a time to kind of get into the groove of things. How is that going? Is that going as well as you'd hoped it would? Is it bringing you the exposure that you'd hoped it would?
Yeah, it's going really well. I'm definitely getting into it, and I started doing other shows to promote the Crave show, so I do like a little pre-show, like short, on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then on Fridays I do a Q&A. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I've had a lot of weird opportunities happen to me because of the Crave stuff. So I got Chael Sonnen on the show, and that was interesting. But it's been a lot of fun. It was really cool. So yeah, I'm definitely liking working with Crave.
That's awesome, and it's awesome that you were able to have, one of the celebrities that I think people. I think one of the two that people love to hear you do is, definitely Chael Sonnen and Nick Diaz, of course.
Yeah.
Did you watch MMA Uncensored last night? Any of you guys? Did you watch the MMA Uncensored last night? I did not, and it's funny that I'm asking you if you did, but
I did.
It had the Diaz brothers, both of them, on there at the same time.
It did. Both awkward brothers.
How was the interview? What did they cover with them, David? What was the conversation like?
The conversation was basically questions being asked and answered in very general ways. Like, what's your plan for Ben Henderson, Nate? Well, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to put on a show. Nick, what do you think about your brother fighting Ben Henderson? I think he's going to win. What's your strategy? I'm going to go in there and win.
I did see at some point. Did they actually flip the bird, or was that just kind of?
It was a reference to having done that in the past. I think it was Nick saying, "Look, they think we're just this." And did the flipping the bird. He wasn't actually flipping the bird.
Oh, okay. That's a little less exciting.
It was less exciting. They were fine, and they're just terrible guys when they're being interviewed. You don't get anything out of them.
Like
it's fascinating to watch because they're so awkward, especially Nick.
Right.
And they're sitting there, and you can see the body language, like, oh god, like they'd rather be anywhere else but there.
What were you going to say, Tommy?
Well, I was.
All white people sound the same to me. Which one of you was it?
that was Cody.
Oh, that white person. What's up, Cohy?
I was just gonna say I missed it, but I did see some people were like live tweeting it, and then I heard at one point someone asked Nick a question, and Nick was just like, "Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about that." And it was just kind of like, "God damn it, it's an interview."
Yeah. They definitely they're interesting individuals. They don't do interviews very well. But that's kind of part of their charm, isn't it? That the fact that they don't do interviews well. And Tommy, that's something that you bring across really well. When you're doing parodies of Nick Diaz. I don't think you've done Nate yet. I'd imagine they would sound exactly the same.
I did them once. I did one time. I had Nate on, and it was pretty fun. I had both of them together, and they beat up Anderson Silva and Steven Seagal. It was a pretty funny one, but yeah, he sounds very similar.
But I would say that's part of their charm. Wouldn't you say? I mean, when you're putting that material together for them, it's that awkwardness that makes it so funny. Because it is exactly how they do it, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, they. I love the Diaz brothers. I mean, I make fun of them a lot, but it's. I really do enjoy they're such interesting characters. You can't help but be fascinated by them.
Right. Yeah.
Coey, your buttons on your phone, they're ringing again. Like
that was not me. My keypad isn't even up.
That's what he said.
Erica,
oh,
who could it be?
This firefighting.
Oh, sorry, that is totally my fault, guys. I was going to look at an article, and apparently ESPN is going to force me to watch a commercial while I do it. But I did want us to talk about a few things today. We have a fairly full show, mostly because I will not be here next week, so we're going to do a short recap of. Or a short preview, I should say, of UFC 153, which is next weekend in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I will be leaving for Brazil on Thursday. I am indeed petrified. I've only traveled internationally.
Just don't bow. That's Chael's advice. Right, Tommy Cameltoe?
That's right. Isn't that right, Tommy? Don't.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get him. I couldn't understand what he was saying.
We were talking about.
I was repeating Chael Sonnen's advice to Erica and anyone going to Brazil: just don't bow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm maybe it won't be as bad as I think it will be. I watch way too much television. That is definitely a factor here. All I see is City of God, kind of like looping through my head. But I will be staying away from the favelas as much as possible. Okay, so we'll talk about. I'd like to do a short recap of the UFC on Fuel TV 5, which was headlined by Stipe Miocic versus Stefan Struve.
Fucking Fuel show. Shit.
That is almost the best part of reviewing Fuel shows on here is hearing David gripe about Fuel. UFC on FX 5 is tonight on a Friday night, so. How are they working that out with the Ultimate Fighter?
Ultimate Fighter will air when the fight's end. It's scheduled to start at 10, but it never will. So probably 10:30. Okay. If you're DVRing this shit, you better set it to go long.
UFC 153, of course. We'll talk about that. There's a few fighters that have been released. It feels like we haven't really talked a whole lot about fighters that have been released from the UFC. I don't think that they've really had huge layoffs from the UFC lately, and they just had they let go 6 fighters, I guess we should say, if we're going to include
Hallman.
Dennis Hallman, who was unable to fight tonight due to missing weight. But we'll talk about that because there's a little bit more to the story than just him missing weight. And
was he wearing that G-string thing again, or whatever?
no, I mean there's at least from the articles that I've been able to read, and who told me this? I'm trying to think who was the one that told me. It might have been Justin from the Low Blow or Low Blow Radio last night that told me some more details about that. But we'll talk about that in a second. Tommy, did you get a chance to watch the Struve Miocic fight that happened last Saturday?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of the event just overall? I mean, if you had to give it a grade between an A and a D, what would you give it?
I don't know. It was maybe in the B, C range, I guess. It wasn't horrible. There was some interesting stuff that happened on the prelims, I thought, and then the main card had a couple things that I found interesting too. But I mean, it wasn't like a blockbuster. Oh my God! If you didn't have fuel, you really missed out kind of card. But it wasn't horrible either.
Right. And I have to agree. I would give it like a B minus. David, did you find other means to watch the card, or did you completely refuse to watch it? Did you?
I just didn't watch it. I wasn't going to stream it.
And support.
Just wasn't. I knew it would be a decent show, but it just wasn't worth it to me.
And I know Kohi said he was going to record it. Kohi, did you get a chance to review it after you got back from your your weekly Delaware trip?
Yeah, I did actually end up watching it Sunday evening.
Oh, wow. Okay. So on the main card, what were any notable fights that you saw, Kohi, since you're our resident matchmaker? Just maybe 2 or 3 out of the main card that you thought are worth mentioning, and what you think the next step will be for the winners of those bouts.
I think Paul Sass versus Matt Wyman was a fun short fight. It didn't last very long, but it was really a neat grappling exchange between the two, and then to see Wyman actually be the one to walk away with the submission, that was really cool.
That was amazing. No one saw that coming. Paul Sass didn't see that coming.
I think Paul Sass versus Terry Adam, a couple Brits fighting each other would be pretty neat. Wyman, I think either TJ Grant or the winner of Mark Bocek versus Rafael dos Anjos is a good direction to go. I thought the knockout of Yves Juglien by Brad Pickett was phenomenal. I could watch Brad Pickett fight every day. That dude is crazy. He gets hit a lot, but it was, I guess that was one of the first times we'd actually seen him just like drop someone with one punch and live up to his cute little nickname. But I think Brad Pickett versus Mike Easton is definitely a direction they need to be going in right now. As far as Juglien, I mean, you could put him up with Ken Stone, Vaughn Lee, any of those guys. And then aside, I'm not going to mention like Dan Hardy and Amir Sadal or like Hathaway and McGuire or Ludwig and Mills, but I thought the main event was actually pretty good. I do think Stefan Struve's getting a little bit of unnecessary love. Some people are saying, it's like, everyone was saying Struve was going to get knocked out in the first round. Look at him, he's a contender now. I was like, well, he did lose that first round. He got hit a lot.
And if he was
fighting anybody who had some semblance of a gas tank, which this is, the second or third fight we've seen Miocic really struggle with his cardio. If it had been anybody else with some semblance of cardio, I think Struve definitely would have eventually been knocked out or lost the fight somehow. With that being said, I think Stefan Struve versus like Mark Hunt or Czech Honda is a good way to go, and then Pat Barry versus Miocic would be my pick for him.
Pat Barry Miocic, that would be an interesting fight, although albeit I think they both would at some point the fight would end up being kind of just ugly, but that would be a really interesting fight. I am going to, however, mention the Dan Hardy Amir Sadal fight. It went exactly how I think most people pictured it going. Amir Sadal is a hard guy to finish. I think we've only seen him get finished once in the UFC. Is that it? Is it just once? Most of the time, it's he goes to decision.
Johnny Hendricks knocked him out in his
Yeah, that was on the Philly card that he knocked him out. And I think maybe twice. Then maybe he's been finished twice. I'm trying to think what the other time would be. And I just off the top of my head, I can't think of what it would be.
No, just once, according to his Wikipedia page.
See, you are just so much faster on the draw than me, Tommy, because it was taking me forever. I forgot his name just that quick from switching from one tab to the other. Oh, our show is just full of "that's what she said" jokes. It's really sad. But Dan Hardy, I'm actually kind of impressed with him. I think he's, do I think he's going to be a contender again anytime soon? No, but he seems to have learned a few things. I liked the way he was taking Amir down. He wasn't taking unnecessary risks. It looked like he wasn't trying to get just in a straight up stand up war with Amir Sadallah, but it's still an entertaining fight. The judges had it 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27. I have only watched the fight once. I had it 30-27 across the board for Dan Hardy. I didn't think Amir Sadallah won any of those rounds. I guess the first round was probably the closest, but I still thought Dan Hardy was more effective in that first round than Amir Sadallah. But that tends to be the case anyway. But a pretty good card. If you missed it, apparently the replay that they did of the live show did better than the live show. Does that make sense? I don't understand how that happened, but I guess it was kind of a weird time. But it came on at like 5 p.m. or something like that. Something weird.
I think it was on at like 3.
Was it on at 3?
Yeah, it was really early. It was weird.
Yeah, people didn't. I don't think people liked that.
Well, what kills me is that people were complaining that the British cards, because of the time difference, and sites were putting up spoilers, and people were freaking out about that, saying that they wanted to see the fights live. So when the UFC put them on at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they're just like, hey, I have things to do. Who remembers to watch fights at 3 in the afternoon? I was like, well, you asshole, you asked for it.
Yeah.
Only the hardcore people really care or realize that. Like when you're talking about ratings, it's better off having it air on tape delay at night overall. You're going to have your hardcores that would be pissed if they read the spoilers. And then, you know what? Don't go on the internet. Don't look at mixed martial arts news when fights are taking place if you don't want them to be spoiled. But just for the general population, people don't realize that this was taped earlier, 4 hours earlier, and they just watch in larger numbers. And then again, this was Fuel, so larger numbers, you're talking about 10 people.
Yeah, that's you have a good point. Well, the original broadcast, the live broadcast, was 111,000 viewers, and then the replay was 140,000. So together, that was 100. If you add those two broadcasts together, it was 251,000 viewers for the show, which would have actually made it number one in ratings for a Fuel card. But we can't count the replays into that. So 111 is what the live show gets, which is just really kind of sad. The ratings for everything, whether it's Fuel or whether it's effects for UFC programming, is just the decline is so rapid. I can't imagine that there isn't a little bit of panic going on behind the scenes with the UFC brass and probably the Fox brass as well.
If you don't think that this is working out well, just don't buy any more pay-per-views, okay?
Yeah. According to Dana White,
do us a favor. Everything is peachy keen, and if you don't like the way things are going, just don't buy any more.
Don't buy any more pay-per-views. Dana White doesn't want you. Dana White doesn't want you watching anything. As a matter of fact, if you see a UFC commercial, he wants you to change the station. He doesn't even want you watching the commercial.
Do me a favor, you ignorant twats. Come on.
Yeah. He hasn't called us really, really bad. He's called us idiots, but he hasn't really called us anything really bad lately. I feel like I have battered wife syndrome, that if he's not extremely belligerent to me, I feel like he doesn't love me anymore.
Well, do we count as MMA media?
Not that he cares about, that's for sure.
Well, he went off on the MMA media today, so technically we kind of fall under that area.
Yeah. So maybe he does love us. Is that what you're saying? If we count ourselves as media,
it's a different kind of love.
It's a different kind of love. I'll take it. I'll take any love I can get right now. So I'll take it. So tonight we have the UFC on FX 5 card. And honestly, I think the Fuel TV 5 card is a much better lineup than the FX card that's coming out tonight. We have a 4 card. Sorry, wow.
Board.
Yeah, apparently that's how I feel about the FX5 card. It's 4 bouts on the main card. There is one fight on the preliminary card on Facebook, which is started an hour ago.
That got moved.
Oh, the Mike Pierce, Aaron Simpson one?
Yeah, because they moved the Carlo Prater fight because the Hallman fight got canceled.
Yeah.
But then because the Jeremy Stevens fight got canceled as well, so they moved everything to Fuel.
Okay. The Stevens fight did not get canceled.
Yes, it did.
I'm reading conflicting things on that.
Yeah, Dana White tweeted that it did not get canceled. He did get arrested, I heard. But
as far as I know, he's still in jail.
As far as I know, the fight is still on.
Yeah, he was in jail with no bail for a felony charge. I don't think he's getting out.
Oh, was it a felony charge? I thought it was
felony charge in another state.
I read something, and this is like straight up rumor that I read that someone put something up on a post, and I think Mike Fagan retweeted it, or not Fagan, but Suba did, and it said that Stevens may have been involved in some sort of assault, and one of Stevens' family members was originally taking the fall, but now the truth is the truth of the whole situation is coming out, and that's why he got arrested. I don't know. That's a rumor, but... No,
you're right. You're absolutely... Well, I mean, according to MMAfighting.com, they just got an update at 4:30, so they're the most recent update. The Facebook prelims were completely canceled, and Jeremy Stevens was still in custody at that time. So, Dana White sticking his foot in his mouth as usual. And so, I guess we might as well... Well, before we talk about the Dennis Hallman fight, I do have a message to you, Tommy, from a friend of mine who posted on Facebook. I work with him at Fight Metric, and his name is Michael. Hi, Michael, if you're listening. Michael says that you need to have an episode where you help bust Jeremy Stevens out of the clink, and he thinks that you should do it via long metal file and a foot-long chili dog, a la Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And I agree.
Sounds like a plan.
So, Michael, I've pitched your idea to Tommy, and he likes it. So we'll see what happens. But another fight was canceled on the card, and we've already mentioned that, and that was the Dennis Hallman fight. I don't even know who he was supposed to fight. Who is it? Doesn't even know.
Tavares.
Thiago Tavares. We're all sad about that. And I mean, people are like, he's an exciting fighter. I just can't really. I don't think the needle doesn't move either way for me. He doesn't bore me, but he doesn't really excite me as a fighter either. It's just,
You only get like a half a chub from him.
I only get did you say half a chub? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like being in a long-term monogamous relationship where, it's just kind of, it's not getting me hot and it's not turning me off. It's just kind of in between. Yeah. But Dennis Hallman was not able to make weight, and this is the second.
Not one for long-term monogamy.
That's all I've done, man. I'm a serial monogamist, and it's awful. And lesbians, you've heard of lesbian bed death, right? Have you ever heard of that term, lesbian bed death?
Never heard of that. I'm learning so many new things.
You are. Today is the show where you learn.
Racist edge or
lesbian bed death. It's like when two lesbians are in a long-term relationship, and after a while it stops becoming a relationship. It's just really glorified roommates who just happen to sleep in the same bed. Lesbian bed death. Yeah.
Erica, you remember how you were telling us that, because I didn't realize this, but apparently lesbian couples moved in together after a really short amount of time.
Oh God, yes. Oh yeah.
Well, a guy that I went to law school with, who was, an openly homosexual, has a friend who, started his own homosexual clothing line, and one of the new T-shirts was Second Date Moving Company, and that made me think of you.
Oh my God. I want it. How do I get it? Is there a way for me to get that?
I'll look into it and see if I can figure out a way for you to get it.
Because Christmas is coming up very soon. And although David may not care, I care a great deal about Christmas. And
look at these little anti-Semitic things. Gotta love it.
It feels like it's been a while since I've really given you some good ribbing.
The Christ Killer may not care, but we will be celebrating.
That's an awesome T-shirt. Oh, I love it. I really do. And it's for the most part pretty true. It's obviously a stereotype, but stereotypes come from somewhere. And in my experience, it's more often true than not. Now, is the stereotype reflective of what reality is, or is reality taking the stereotype and utilizing it? I don't know. It could be either way, but it does happen quite often. I don't know what it is. You know how chicks are, man. We fall in love real quick and we fall hard. We know you for 20 minutes and we're already planning what our children's names are going to be. And I know Kohi knows exactly what I'm talking about. Kohi knows what I'm talking about when I talk about chicks like that. The ones that are already plotting what your wedding is going to look like on the second date. I know you.
Why is that me?
Because you and your girlfriend decided not to have an abortion.
Tommy, we have decided that at some point Justin got some girl knocked up, and they decided not to abort the child, and the child was born just several weeks ago in this story that we've created. Justin denies it, and I think David and I might go halvesies on a PI just to figure out if the story is actually true. I'm starting to think that maybe there's something Justin's not telling us.
We've all got our skeletons.
That is true. Oh.
Mine just happens to be an infant.
I've got entire bodies.
Rotting corpses in our closets. All right, so let's talk about this FX card that's happening tonight. The main card starts off Josh Neer versus Justin Edwards.
Who the fuck is Justin Edwards?
I feel like I should know. Justin Edwards. Is Justin Edwards the dude who kind of looks like Tommy?
Maybe.
I couldn't point him out in a lineup. I'm actually going to look him up. Yeah, he kind of looks a little bit like the Tommy character. Although the Tommy character is much, much, much more handsome. If I
thank you.
So. Justin Fast Eddie Edwards. I don't know if I like your moniker, Mr. Edwards. Although
three fights in the UFC, and he's lost 2 of them.
Oh, not good. Not good. Was he on The Ultimate Fighter? Is that where he came from?
Oh yeah, I guess he was.
Oh yeah, he was. Oh, on Team Lesnar versus Dos Santos. That, you know why I didn't recognize that? Because I watched one episode of that season of The Ultimate Fighter, and like every subsequent season of The Ultimate Fighter.
But it's still Fighter. One more than you'll be watching this season.
Dude, my brother still kind of likes it. So we'll kind of fast forward through it. It's just awful. Tommy, have you been watching The Ultimate Fighter?
I watched the first episode. And then I've kind of, caught a little bit here and there, but no, I really don't, I don't get into it. I mean, I usually like to try to watch the fight at the end of the show, but all the stuff in the house, I really don't care about that.
Yeah. And, I did watch the last fight, and it just kind of pissed me off because I thought it should have gone to a third round, and I don't know. I don't know. I was just not
Don't
happy.
leave it to the judges.
Yeah. Or as Dana White would actually say, don't fucking leave it to the fucking judges.
You fucking fuck.
You fucking fuck, yes. I
hope my mom never listens to this show, because my language is horrendous on here.
Yeah, I'm lucky my mom does not know how to even remotely find the show. So,
my mom would not be shocked. She's come to expect the worst.
She's not mad, she's just disappointed.
Yeah, at this point. I think she's even beyond disappointed. Now she's actually proud of me.
Oh, wow. I'm looking at the T-shirts on this website you sent me, Kohi, and this is pretty amazing. homohumor.com. If the gays are interested, this is an amazing little t-shirt company. I'm going to be buying some stuff. There might be Christmas gifts from this.
When did you start this business, Chloe?
Ha ha ha.
Well, you know what? We will be talking a little bit more about the homos a little bit later. Because I did want to talk. I figure David would be a better person to really discuss the boxer who came out, Cruz.
Yeah, I really don't know much about him.
Oh, well, maybe not.
He's not a huge star, but I mean, he is a veteran boxer. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's a good thing when any combat athlete at that type of level
can
decide to come out, and in addition to that, football players, his little diatribe the other, 4 weeks ago maybe. Like it's a good thing when you have people like this supporting or actually coming out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a football player. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was a Ravens football player that came out with something that was against the homos and about them getting married, and we had a discussion about that because it was two Ravens players. It was one that came out and said that he was against the gay marriage thing, and there was another one that came out and said he supported equal rights for everybody. And we talk about this a little bit when it comes to UFC fighters, but I personally have come to this point where I think if you are a celebrity athlete, and you have an opinion about something that's very political or polarizing, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. I mean, I really don't. I don't want to hear what the cornerback for some football team, what his opinion is on gay marriage or the election or who I should vote for or who I shouldn't vote for. I really I can't. I'm starting to really dislike that because it seems like a lot of organizations are now using that to their advantage to kind of move their own agendas, and I don't think it's right either way, whether I agree with the cause or I disagree with the cause. So that was Erica's little bitching fest for the episode. There'll probably be another one before the show's over.
Just to our listeners, if no one's watching the Fuel broadcast right now, you probably should switch it on because Diego Nunez and Bart Palashevsky are having a really fun brawl right now.
Oh, really? Oh, man, and I forgot to record it. God damn it, Erica.
Yeah, Palashevsky threatened with a arm and guillotine and then a triangle, and then Nunez kind of made a little slip up when he was going for the back, and they stood back up, and then Palashevsky got dropped. And now,
it's just presumptuous. It's presumptuous that you think any of our listeners have you.
I mean,
turn it on right now. Yeah, okay. I'd love to.
You're so bitter.
I am. I'm very. I am embittered by this.
David Bitterman.
He is awfully bitter, but
anytime there's something on Fuel. Very much angers me.
On full TV.
On full TV.
Yeah, so we actually did start off Josh Nair versus Justin Edwards, since he seems to be a tough washout. I'm going to go with Josh Nair on this fight. I don't know how the rest of you guys are going to sway on this particular one, but I just feel like through process of elimination, I have to go through. I have to pick Josh Nair, the veteran fighter, really tough guy, against this guy who just didn't seem to make it on Tough and hasn't seemed to be able to make it in the UFC either. Any thoughts, guys? Am I alone on this
I'm with you.
Yeah, I can't add anything to that.
Tommy's with you.
Yeah. I mean, the fight doesn't even deserve to be on the main card. I think they're hoping that Josh Neer makes it exciting, but other than that, there's 2 or 3 fights on the main card that are on the prelims that should have been on the main card instead of this abomination.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Let's see. Next, John Dodson versus, how do you pronounce this name?
Smith.
Smith. We're going to call him Smith. Even his first name is throwing me for a loop.
That's especially the one that threw me.
Is it Jessier?
I think it's John Smith. Is how I'm reading it.
John Smith.
John Dodson against John Smith.
And he changed his last name. It's Formiga right now, but it used to be De Silva. And I think
Formiga or Formiga or however the hell you pronounce it is like his fight name, and that they've just kind of done like the Mirko Cro Cop sort of thing, and used his fight name as his last name.
Well, because there's too many Silvas, so you don't want to get lost in that kind of.
But he's not Silva. He's Da Silva.
Yeah, we're Americans. It's all the same. I mean, let's be honest.
To a New Jersey guy, he's Da Silva.
You know how many people I've told that I'm going to Brazil and they ask me how my Spanish is?
He's one of many Silvas. It's Da Silva there and Da Silva there. Da Silva there?
Yeah, they think it's like duh and like the spider.
Duh is THE. That's how I say duh. Da Silva. Da Silva.
Yeah, I mean, the Spanish thing just cracks me up. That people, how's your Spanish? My Spanish is actually not that bad, but since they don't speak Spanish down there, I'm not sure how well it's going to go.
How's your Portuguese?
Awful. And that's because, and I hate to say it like this, I think Portuguese is a really ugly language. I do not think it's cute. It's not sexy. It's not smooth. It's kind of like the Spanish, German hybrid sounding thing. It's just not a sexy language.
German's the language of love.
Unless it's Heidi Klum speaking the German, then no. No.
You can
Just
say
remember,
anything.
if you see an R, make an H sound, and you're fine.
So does that make me Ehika? Is that how I should introduce myself? Is Ehika? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's my name.
Yeah, well, you're not Portuguese or Brazilian.
I know, but they're going to be like, I don't know how you pronounce your name. And then they're just going to call me something else. I know it. I just know it. It's going to be awful. We just completely got on at a little tangent here, didn't we?
We've talked about one fight on this card.
Tommy, this is what you're in for whenever you come onto our show. I'm going to ask you, Dodson and Formiga, apparently the winner, well, at first it was said that the winner of this fight would face Johnson for the title. I heard that it got switched to just if Dodson wins. But what are your thoughts on the fight? And let's just say Dodson pulls. I think Dodson will. I would pick Dodson for this fight. I'm not that familiar with Formiga. It could be whatever. But how would you match up Dodson and Johnson together as well? Just your Tommy Tohold thoughts.
I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be interesting. Those flyweights, it's so hard to tell. It's a very competitive division. I'll give them that, even though they don't really finish a lot of fights, but it's usually, really close every time. And this Formiga guy, I'm looking at his record. I mean, he's only lost to Ian McCall, so I don't know. Maybe he'll end up taking it. I have no idea. But I'm sure it'll be a close bout, whatever ends up happening.
Oh yeah, and it seems like it was the flyweight fight on 152. What did you think of that fight? It seemed like there were people who were either pissy because people didn't like the fight, or people didn't like the fight because it wasn't as exciting, and it wasn't exactly what I expected personally as a fan. So what were your thoughts on that fight and the flyweight fights moving forward? Is it something that the UFC needs to promote, or are these smaller guys going to unfortunately get kind of pushed by the wayside?
I mean, it was definitely not the most exciting fight. It wasn't a bad fight. I know the Toronto fans weren't enjoying it very much, but I think that was just, it was late in the evening, there was restlessness. But I don't know. I mean, I think they should still promote it. I don't know if they should promote it as the most exciting division ever like they have been, but I think it still has a place. I mean, it usually is somewhat entertaining. They're really fast. So I'd say keep pushing it for a while and see where it goes. It's just kind of starting out, so.
Yeah, and that's true. And, finding a personality is what they're going to really need. And I think John Dodson definitely fits that. Johnson is, I wouldn't say he's I mean, he's a nice enough guy, but he doesn't seem to have a really flamboyant personality, which we've kind of seen is necessary in each division. That you need that one guy who's going to kind of push the envelope a little bit, maybe say a few things that are asinine. And I think we do have, except for the heavyweight division, where Junior Dos Santos, the nicest man that ever walked the planet. But definitely light heavyweight with John Jones, being kind of that controversial figure. Middleweight, Anderson Silva, and at one point, Chael Sonnen, of course. Anderson Silva, of course, with those performances he had against Talis Latis and Damian Maia. There was one more. What was the other fight that was in the Patrick Cote fight? And people still have not forgot about those performances. And the stare downs. He's awesome for stare downs. I love that part. Usually the weigh-ins I don't like to watch because if I wanted to see a bunch of dudes stand around in their underwear at half-mast, I would, go to a strip club or something. But I do like seeing Anderson Silva. It's really gross. It's just really nasty. You guys need to learn how to control that shit. It's just gross. That's nasty. But I think Dotson will pull it out in this fight.
That's what she said.
Oh, we can't help ourselves.
I hope he doesn't. That's like Dennis Hallman's role.
Oh. So, did we even finish discussing Hallman? I don't think we did. That he got both the money. So his fight got canceled because he came in overweight, and then I am reading that he got both his show money and his win money from the UFC, which is very, very unusual. So that he said something about going through some serious family issues right now. So it's good to hear the UFC kind of have the fighters back, even in dismissal, because it is the right move. So it would be the second fight that he came in overweight, and I heard it was ridiculous amounts. Not quite Anthony Rumble Johnson amounts, but he came in really overweight for the fight. Obviously, he's battling something in his personal life. Do you think the UFC misses the boat sometimes by not exploiting these kinds of things that they do for fighters, and getting it into the media? No?
Not in this case, definitely no.
And why would you say that? You don't think this is good PR for them?
Well, in a way, yes. I mean, the guy came in overweight. There was some sort of discussion that if he could get within a couple of pounds of like 158 or something like that, then Thiago Tavares would agree to the fight. And then when he came back, he was like, well, actually try and lose a half more pound. And then he was like, screw it, I'm done. And then he went to Dana White, kind of explained that he's having these personal issues, and that's why he didn't have such a great cut. But I think the issue is that right after that, Hallman was tweeting, and I believe Benji Raddick put some stuff up on Twitter and on Facebook as well, being like, wow, that was awesome. Dana White, said he's got my back and all this kind of stuff. Gave me my show and my win money and was really understanding. And he goes, I'm definitely going to fight in the UFC again. And then like 20 minutes later, it's like, well, and Dennis Hallman's been released from his UFC contract. So I don't know if that would have been the smartest thing in the world to promote, where Hallman and Raddick and other guys are being like, Dana White's got his back. He was really understanding about the issues and all that kind of stuff, gave him his money, and then, it's going to allow him to continue the fight. And then, a few minutes later, finds out to fire the guy. So I'm not sure that would have been the smartest.
But I don't think that, if that's what the tweet said, it sounded like he knew he was going to get let go. It didn't sound like he was...
Well, I think he specifically said that he was like, that they're, I'll be fighting in the UFC again. Like,
that can be
not
taken
immediately, one day.
Yeah, that's how I interpret it. That it means one day I'll be fighting in the UFC again, not necessarily I'll be getting another bout on the same.
I think the deal is he has to make weight on a few of the lower rung shows, and then they'll take him back.
Yeah, I still think it's I don't know. The UFC does a lot of little things like this, and they don't really take advantage of it. And they really need to promote that kind of their goodwill in that way, because there's still people who
they'd rather call fans morons and tell you not to buy their pay-per-views.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Man. They Dana White just really
They lost my goodwill.
He's a special individual. Dana apparently really likes Tommy Toehold though. So and so long as you keep
Who doesn't?
In his good graces. So Dana White has told you that he likes your show, right, Tommy?
Yeah, he shared the episode I did of him, and he just put good shit on it. So it was a compliment. Yes.
That is a Dana White compliment.
Yes, it is. If it doesn't actually have a curse word in it, then it's not a compliment. So, would you ever do a show where you were, being a little harsher critic of Dana White, or would you not do that? Or because it's comedy, you should have free reign on everything, which I believe you should. I think you should, when it's comedy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I make fun of anything and everything, really. I mean, even when I am complimentary of people, I still kind of take little jabs at them. It's all in humor, you know. Even the episode I had Dana on, I kind of made fun of how he said there was something about EA video game, and he said that anybody that was in an EA game like that was the Strikeforce game was not ever going to be in the UFC video games, and then obviously that was turned around when they made the deal with EA, so I kind of made a joke about that on the episode. So, I mean, I don't know. I try to be as truthful as possible about how I see situations, and I try to put people in, I guess, the best light, but also, kind of big jabs at them. I don't know. I guess if it got really bad, or if I thought he did something, that really was just wrong or horrible, I would call him out on it on the show, but it would still be just tongue-in-cheek and kind of fun.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, fair enough. I like that. Yeah. Look at Tommy. Tommy balancing it out really well.
That's
right. All right, so let's talk about the co-main event for the FX card is Jake Ellenberger versus Jay Heron, which was originally going to be the co-main event for UFC 151, the card that never was. And
can I just say that I think Dana White had something to do with the fact that they didn't renumber 152 to 151 just to be a complete douche.
Yeah, I mean if anybody's surprised by that, then you need to go back and check Dana White's history. That sounds like something he would totally do. That also sounds like something I would do if I was a 14-year-old girl. Is there a correlation? Possibly. Jake Ellenberger is he's coming off a loss to Martin Kampmann, and actually a pretty it was a little controversial stoppage though, if I remember correctly. Jake Ellenberger and Martin Kampmann. He's coming in here. He's actually a replacement on 151 for Josh Koscheck. And it was supposed to be Koscheck versus Heron, and now it's Ellenberger versus Heron. So
no, it was Koscheck versus Ellenberger.
Oh, was it Koscheck versus Ellenberger?
Yeah.
And then Koscheck went out and they brought Heron in. Oh, okay. I thought it was Koscheck and Heron. This shows how much I pay attention. I really don't.
I looked it up earlier today because I couldn't remember I couldn't remember who Heron was replacing, so I looked it up today.
You son of a bitch! You couldn't let me just be right for just a few minutes.
Plus I'm a savant, apparently.
I think this is an interesting fight in terms of the matchup itself. I'm not sure it's going to be the most exciting fight ever. Ellenberger has had problems with his cardio in the past, and I think that's really kind of been his Achilles heel as a fighter. I think he has... Oh, well, sorry, guys. Man. I think he has the... shut up, son of a bitch. I think...
is that Matt Hamill? Oh, God.
Oh, my God. That has not died, Tommy. Every episode since then, we've had a quote-unquote visit from Matt Hamill.
God.
I mean, if hell exists, there are reserved seating for us. So, I mean, I don't think there's any way out of it short of
Hell doesn't exist.
Thank you, David.
No problem. At least I hope it doesn't.
That does not make me feel better at all. Oh, you son of a bitch! You son of a bitch!
Karma might exist, and then fucked.
Oh yeah, well we're equally fucked whether it's karma or whether there's a hell. So, son of a bitch. Who are you picking? I don't even know who to pick to win this fight. I'm just not sure. I don't know if I'm familiar enough with Jay's game to really make a educated decision on who's going to win the fight. Kohi, what are your thoughts?
I think Ellenberger's going to smash him.
Oh, that was awfully.
I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of the fanboy of me coming out. I'm a big Jake Ellenberger fan. I think I don't think the stoppage in the Campman fight was necessarily controversial. I do think he was definitely out, but prior to that, he won like 6 or 7 straight, and the one fight that he did lose was his debut against Carlos Condit, which I actually scored for him. Guy hits like a truck, great wrestling. I don't think a lot of people know that Jay Haran actually handed Jake Ellenberger his first professional loss back in the IFL. But I think, that was probably back in like 2006, 2007. I think Ellenberger's come a long ways since then. Knocking out guys like Jake Shields, beating guys like Diego Sanchez, and actually having a rocking Campman at one point early in that first round. I just think they're at really different points in their career. I think Haran's having like one last run in the UFC, not necessarily for a title, just kind of like one last run, while Ellenberger's looking to get back into the a contender spot, and I think he'll do so by. If he doesn't finish Haran, I think it'll be extremely one-sided decision, but I look for him to get the knockout here.
Do you know what Jay's full name is? It's James.
His fight name or
his
or
real
his
name? His real name is James Thomas Hieronymus.
Hieronymus?
Hieronymus. Like anonymous, but Hieronymus. I think
Weird.
That's awesome. I don't understand why he changed it, because that is awesome. Your name is Hieronymus. That's so cool.
He got knocked out by George St. Pierre. Who was the last person besides Matt Hughes to get knocked out by George St. Pierre? So.
Oh. Still, Hieronymus. It's awesome. I don't know. He's been on a fairly impressive win streak up until he met Ben Askren.
He won that fight, though. He definitely won that fight. That was.
Yeah. So. That seems to be the thing that a lot of people thought he actually won that fight. And on the way, he beat Jason High, Jesse Taylor, Joe Riggs, Brent Weidman, Rick Hahn, and then of course the Ben Askren controversy. Wow, man.
Jake Haran has that really that kind of prickish thing that he does when he kind of has the submission in, and then he tells the ref that the fighter's out, and then the ref stops the fight, and the fighter's just kind of like, "What the hell? I'm fine."
I'm saying, man, that's called gaming the system. That's awesome. Unless it's a fighter that I like.
Dick move.
It is a dickhead move, but it's still.
It's called doing a Romney.
It is. I think that's an appropriate way of calling it. So the main event, whether you're excited about it or not, is Travis Brown versus Antonio Silva.
Shut up, Matt.
I don't know how I feel about this fight.
I don't know why I'm saying that. It's not like you can hear me.
Oh, damn. Tommy, I'm sorry if the apocalypse comes and Jesus says you participated in jokes on a deaf person and therefore you are going to burn in hell for all eternity. I apologize in advance.
It's okay. It happens.
You still didn't interview him on your program.
I like how nonchalant Tommy's about going to hell. Nah, it happened.
Eternal damnation, gnashing of teeth, clawing. Who cares? Whatever. It happens.
I'll have plenty of time to think about it.
That's true. And hopefully not plot your revenge, because that would just be awful. To be in hell and have somebody who's really pissed off at you, that's a bad day right there.
You just have to listen to Matt Hamill talking to you, like, for eternity.
Terrence from Southeast is asking me if I can pick up a couple of suitcases for him in Brazil. Hell no, Terrence. You are not getting me thrown in Gitmo or some bullshit. No. Erica wouldn't do well in prison at all. Mostly because I don't like authority figures. So that would just be really just awful right there.
And it would be prison.
And it would be prison. Although my brother was telling me stories about when he went to prison. And he says, some of those minimum security ones are actually kind of nice. It's jail, he says, it's kind of crappy. But prison, not so bad.
But if you get picked up on their end, you're in trouble.
Yeah. No, we're talking about American ones. Although I did watch a program, so off base here. This is what happens when you listen to the show. I did watch a program about like prisons around the world. And there are some of them that will let people... Like, you can leave the prison, like, you work it out so that you can leave the prison and, visit with your friends and family for, like, 5 days, and then you go back to jail, and it happens, like, once a month or something like that.
It's like a period.
Yeah, it really is. Maybe that's what it is, because it was a women's prison in, like, one of those sandy countries. I don't know which one it was. Somewhere over there. Over there. You can't see me gesturing, but it's over there. And, they let her out for 5 days. She go visit her family and chill and hang out, do her thing, and then she had to come back.
That reminds me of that episode of Family Guy where they did, like, one of their cutaway jokes about Canadian prison. And it was like, oh, this is, easier than a Canadian prison escape. And the guy walks up and he's like, oh, I would like to go outside. And he goes, okay, be back before dark.
Oh, Canada is awesome, by the way. Toronto is just absolutely awesome. It's like America, but better. Yeah, I said it. It's like America, but better. Free healthcare.
Well, you can get it out.
I will if one of those candidates wins. I'm definitely moving to Canada, and then we will have to have it'll be a very interesting dynamic to our show as I broadcast from Canada.
I don't think anything would change.
No, I don't think it would either, except my free healthcare, which I would talk about constantly. Hey guys, how's the healthcare going over there? Still not free? Guess what? I've got free healthcare.
So how about that main event?
Travis Brown, Antonio Silva. Bigfoot Silva, I should say.
He's going to need some help here.
I don't know. And so what happened? I thought Travis Brown was training with TLI for a while. Did that change? I mean, obviously
I think that changed. No one's going to make an announcement like hey, who's not training with us anymore. But it appears to me that he's not.
Yeah, he's with Greg Jackson.
Yeah,
now
with Greg Jackson, and has been for a while.
What are your thoughts on? A lot of people are saying Bigfoot Silva is a second-rate fighter. I don't know if I still. I mean, if he's second-rate, he's at the top of the second-rate.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, it was funny. I was watching some of the pre-show stuff, and people are like talking about. Or Chael Sonnen got up there, and he was like, people are saying that Antonio Silva's a washout. It was like, let's keep in mind that the two people that he lost to recently were Daniel Cormier and Cain Velasquez, probably two of, they're both top 5 heavyweights right now. And, before that, he beat guys like Andre Arlovsky. He had a very close fight with Fabricio Verdun, which I thought was, I'd have to watch again, but I actually leaned toward Antonio Silva in that fight. And, was the Elite XC heavyweight champ at one point. The guy's got talent. Beat Fedor Emelianenko.
Yeah.
Yes, he had 2 straight losses and got knocked the F out in both of them, but he's against, like, 2 guys who are known for hitting hard and being extremely violent people.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are discounting Bigfoot and not remembering some of he's put on some really great performances. The Fedor one being, of course, one of them. And I think there's a lot of faith in Travis
Fedor
Brown.
was washed up.
I mean,
you're washed out.
Oh,
washed up.
You're both.
I might be, but Fedor certainly is, and was when Bigfoot beat him. He's getting beat tonight, soundly.
All right, fair enough. Well, Brown is a big dude. That dude is huge.
Fast, too, for a heavyweight.
Yeah, he's like
he's gonna massacre him. You know, will it be a Cain Velasquez massacre? Probably not, but he's gonna massacre him.
Oh, I can't wait for that rematch between Velasquez
Either
and
guy. Oh my god, I can't wait. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Cain will reign.
I think so too. Yeah. Although I know Kohei's a big JDS fan.
I feel like he gives really good hugs.
So Travis Brown.
Good drugs?
Well, probably that too.
Hugs, not drugs.
That's not my motto.
Yeah, fuck a hug. Give me some drugs. That's my motto.
No hard drugs.
Okay, this is hysterical. I have to say this. Like I'm watching Jacob Volkman versus Shane Roller right now, and Jacob Volkman is actually just took Roller's back and is looking for a submission. This is hysterical.
Oh no, I like Shane Roller. I want him to win.
My favorite Shane Roller moment was watching him get knocked out by Melvin Gillard.
Oh no! I mean, that was an interesting knockout.
Name for a fighter.
You're just mean. I like Shane Roller.
I like that name, Shane Roller. Sounds like we should be a champion.
I do. He had Gerald Harris in his corner, who I really like, but.
Oh yeah, I met him in Boston. He is a super nice dude, and there's no reason he should have got let go from the UFC.
Name dropping again.
Say what?
Look at Erica name dropping.
Oh.
Holy shit! Jacob Volkman just finished a UFC fight. Rear naked choke in the first.
Shane Roller, that might be it for him, right? I mean,
that's like 4 straight losses.
Brazilian? What the fuck? You getting ready for your trip already?
Who?
Yeah, Shane Roller.
Shane Roller?
Oh yeah, I did say Shane Roller. I always want to call him Shane Roller.
I know he's not Brazilian.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not his 4th loss in a row because he did beat John Alessio, but I'm not sure that's really gonna save him here. So for his UFC fights, he would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He would be 2-4 in his UFC fights. Not good.
And if you're not Dan Hardy, that is not good.
It's really, really not. Oh, I like Shane. He just needs to. I don't know. He needs to figure something out differently. I hope they don't give Volkman the microphone because I really don't want to hear what he has to say.
Give another joke. Didn't he joke about Obama at one point? Was that him?
Oh well, more than at one point.
Someone should kick his ass.
Yeah, and then remember the.
And then he told a terrible, terrible joke about a glassectomy or some shit.
Yeah, I mean he's had more conversations with the Secret Service than a Colombian hooker. So.
Speaking of, did you see my post? I got visited by a federal investigator yesterday.
Yes, I did see that. And I'm trying to figure out why you didn't drop some subtle hints that your ex-wife was a terrorist. Like, I'm trying to figure out why you didn't do that. You don't have to outright say that she is, but you can be like, there were these times that she would ask me these really strange questions. And she had this really...
She had that one meeting with this guy, Bin Laden.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know why she had 2 cell phones. It was really strange.
It was very strange. But don't say Bin Laden. Be like, you can't recall the name.
At one point after she was in Pakistan.
You can't recall the name. Like, she had a meeting with Benny something Layton.
No, she had a friend, Al something.
Yeah, something. There's something like that. I don't know why you didn't drop hints like that, man.
Dude, NSA is flagging our conversations right now.
Oh, sorry? Can we say sorry? Does sorry make it better? Do we live in a world where sorry doesn't make it better anymore?
I think it makes it fine.
I think it makes it fine. We love America. I love America.
We're terrorist and hate crimes.
Love it or leave it. Love it or leave it.
Yes, we're going to take the Dana White approach to it. You either love it or leave it. So
Patriot Act, woohoo!
Is everybody? I mean, Tommy, do you think Brown is going to have that much of an advantage over Bigfoot Silva?
You know what? I really don't know. I mean, like you guys are saying, Bigfoot. I haven't really, in the UFC, he got his dick kicked in, but, I mean, Cain Velasquez is awesome, and Cormier's awesome, so I really don't know. I mean, I thought he looked really good before that, and, yeah, he's definitely at a height disadvantage, but I don't know. I wouldn't count him out. I mean, I guess I'm trying to say if he won, I wouldn't be, like, completely shocked.
And he does have that jaw like a bass guitar. I mean,
Got a really big head. It makes for a big target.
He does. It's like the Easter Island jobbies. It's very, very, very scary.
He's better for the show. He's better for Triple THS if he wins because he's funnier than Brown.
That's a good point. So that would be the whole reason for us rooting for Bigfoot to win. And I think Brown is undefeated as a heavyweight, and you know, everybody needs to taste that little bit of defeat. Yeah, he's undefeated as a heavyweight. He's the draw against Czech Congo, which again does not count as a loss. So that was a terrible performance from him, though.
Yeah, that was bad. The Chad Griggs fight, though, that was just. I mean, seeing someone that large throw a flying knee like that and then just move the way he did on the ground, that was.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll give Bigfoot Silva all the credit in the world. He's an extremely talented fighter. But damn, he gets hit a lot, and he is slow. He is so slow.
He's very slow.
You know, it's probably like the slowest heavyweight going against the fastest heavyweight. So I think that's going to spell major doom for him.
Oh God, I guess we got to go with Travis Brown. I really I like Bigfoot, and I would like to see him get a win in the UFC. Do I want to see him get a win? First off, this fight should not be a main event. I mean, we all know that, right? In no situation should this fight be a main event. FX,
on Fuel.
I don't even think on Fuel it is a main event card. The numbers for this card, I think, are going to be pretty crappy. Again, Friday night. I don't think it's going to be any better because it's a live fight card. I think it'll get better ratings than The Ultimate Fighter. No.
Well, shit, anything gets better ratings than The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, it's my public access show where I teach kids Christian values with sock puppets. Gets better ratings.
Ultimate Fighter will probably get better ratings than it did last week because of the show.
Oh. Maybe that's the plan.
Not huge ratings, but it'll do better than the first two probably.
Oh, and the ratings have dropped so dramatically from the first episode to the second episode, and so on and so forth. It's just.
I mean, like who? You know, I can't really. Going into the season, how could you have thought that Shane Carwin wouldn't be like setting the world on fire? I can't blame UFC here. Shane Carwin just seemed like the perfect guy for something like this.
Yeah.
Totally sarcastic. All right, come on. We discussed like there's no way Carwin should have been put in this position.
Well Dave, who would you have put up against Nelson as a coach then?
I don't know if I would have made Roy Nelson the coach. Preferable to this, I would have gone with the Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner like reunion.
Yeah, I can't believe they passed up on that.
You know, this is a big shit. This is like awful. And I don't blame Roy Nelson, although he probably, you know, he's entertaining, but he's probably not the guy to be drawing ratings on something like this either. But Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner would have had some interest, some level of it, more than this. Jesus.
Right.
Like who wants to watch this? Nobody wants to watch it.
No, it's pretty awful. It's pretty goddamn awful. So real quick before we go ahead and start closing up shop here.
Do we want to talk about 153?
Oh yes, I completely forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. Jesus. Son of a bitch. What's wrong with me? Don't answer that.
We should probably try and stay on topic a little better, but
shut up. Don't tell me what to do.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Like, I mean, we'll just do.
Stop
Erica's
telling
pick
me
and then
what to do.
The rest of it.
I mean,
you want to take over the show, Justin?
Justin Show, party on, excellent.
We can be your co-hosts. Erica, you ready?
God, now I'm going to want to watch Wayne's World tonight. Thanks.
All right, so UFC 153, Silva versus Bonner. That is next weekend, October 13th. Takes place in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, at the HSBC Arena. It is a pay-per-view, which means that the Preliminaries will be on FX, and there will be...
and the main card will be on your computer screen.
And the main card may or may not be on your computer screen.
Because Dana White said don't order any more shows. Koei, did you see the commercial that aired for 153 on Fuel? Like between fights? The one where Stephen Bonner is asking... I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I keep seeing like some part of an ad, but part of me is looking at my Twitter. If a fight's not on TV, I'm not really watching it. Plus, I have it muted right now. So
apparently, there's a real great commercial with Stephen Bonner asking Forrest Griffin for advice on how to fight Anderson.
Oh yeah, I did see that. They keep. That's not the first time they've done that. They've done a few of those segments where they sit and have tea or water or whatever, and they like talk about something, usually about the Anderson Silva fight, which is pretty funny because both of them are clowns. But yeah, I did see it pop up, and I don't have closed captioning on, so I have no idea what was actually said.
I have not seen it because I am in a room without a television. Makes me sad. Okay, the fight.
I'm on my couch slugging Jameson right now.
Is anybody surprised that Kohei's on his couch?
Slugging Jenna Jameson?
Oh. I mean, that needs to happen too, but I'm not sure that's what's happening right now.
No, that would be like my punishment in hell.
So Gabriel Gonzaga lost his opponent, and they're still trying to fill in that slot. I imagine at this point the fight might just get canceled off the card. I think they want to.
I've seen a lot of people calling for Gonzaga to take that
Cormier
against Cormier.
That sounds like
an interesting fight. Yeah.
Tommy, what do you think of that fight?
I think it'd be interesting. I mean, I guess, given the situation.
Yeah, I think that's the appropriate response. Given the situation, you kind of have to.
That's so true.
Gabriel Gonzaga does not have the same name value with casual fans as did, Frank Mir or Matt Mitrione even, who turned down the fight and Dana White was pissed about.
Did you see Mitrione on Twitter? He actually offered to fight Gonzaga. He tweeted Dana White and was just like, hey, I know I turned down Daniel Cormier because he's a much better wrestler than me, but I'll fight Gonzaga if you want me to.
I'd like that fight, actually. If Matt Mitrione would want to fight Gonzaga, I'd actually kind of like that better than Gonzaga fighting Cormier. At this point, I think they might just need to take Cormier and bring him immediately to the UFC. This whole one extra fight thing with Strikeforce was just kind of bullshit anyway.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of bullshit. It's their way of trying to,
I think they probably owe it to Showtime.
Yeah, fuck Showtime, man.
I'm not sure you can.
Oh, that's true. I'm upset because I don't have Showtime right now, and I'm missing some shows that I really wanted to see, like Homeland and Dexter.
Everyone's telling me how good Homeland is.
Homeland is really good. It's really, really good. Although they lose some of the I don't know how good the second season is going to be compared to the first. Because the first season was all about trying to figure out whether this main character really was a terrorist or whether, Claire Danes' character, who is, she's bipolar on the show. Although, I don't know, they make her like super crazy television bipolar. Well,
yeah, once you find out the answer to that, things can become less interesting. But that first season was really good.
Well, yeah, it's like anything. It's like any show where the main characters have that kind of unrequited love thing going on, and the instant that those two characters get together, the show loses something. It's the exact same thing.
There's a tension between this stuff where you're trying to figure out who's doing what, and like the 24 type of thing.
Oh, I've never watched 24. I don't like.
I need to finish the Breaking Bad season. Jesus.
Yeah, you do. Get on top of that, Tommy.
What season are you up to?
I'm still on season 2. I never finished it.
Are you kidding me?
You son of a bitch.
Well, I'm sorry. Things have come up. Actually, I missed Sons of Anarchy last week, which is I still haven't seen yet, which is unusual for me. I've just been.
It was only okay in my opinion. It was an all right.
No. We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it.
She can't tell you if it was okay or good or great.
No, we're not even going there.
She can't tell you about the death of. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
I will find you, Wolf. I will find you.
Do you watch any of these shows, Tommy, or are we just kind of confusing you with all of this our randomness?
You know, I don't have Showtime, so I haven't seen Homeland. I've seen a little bit of Breaking Bad. I don't know. I guess I don't watch a whole ton of TV. I've seen a little bit of Sons of Anarchy too. They're good shows. I don't know. I don't have a desire to get into all these TV dramas, but I mean, they seem really good. I just don't really get into them for some reason.
You are missing out.
AKA, I'm too fucking famous to watch this shit.
I know. Apparently, he has too much of a life. Where my Friday nights are figuring out what television shows I'm going to watch. Tommy's out hobnobbing with the best of the best. You son of a bitch.
The best.
Hanging out with Bruce Buffer.
I actually got to hang out with Bruce Buffer in Toronto at the airport. He's a really cool dude. He's a really cool dude.
Yeah, Bruce is great. Yeah.
I liked him a lot. He was not the person that I thought he'd be. I don't know what I thought he'd be, but it definitely was not.
He wasn't Bruce Buffer?
You son of a bitch. All of you, son of a bitches.
Dude, Antonio Silva's head is massive.
Well, Antonio
It's
Silva.
a big target.
Has the main fight card? When does the main fight card start?
8:00.
Okay, I just want to make sure I don't miss out on that because I have some conflicting things on my DVR and. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I DVR shows, I figure out how to fit them all in, and then I watch them. And I'm hoping tonight I'll get to watch them in a pleasant state of mind if my brother comes through. Boom. That's right. I said it. Okay, so main card UFC 153, Damian Maia versus Rick Story. I'll just go to each one of you and you give me your thoughts on who the winner will be. Tommy, I'll start with you. Damian Maia, Rick Story.
I'm going to go Rick Story on that one.
All right, Justin, who's your pick for this one?
Damian Maia. I think Maia showed a little glimpse of the old Damian Maia in the Dong Young Kim fight, and wasn't worried about trying to show off his striking. Was just running in, going in, grabbing the takedown, and taking him down. I think he's going to do the same thing with Story. Story hasn't really impressed me as of late. I think he'll drag him down and get the submission.
Rude.
Rude.
Gotta go with you, Wolf. What do you think? Damian Maia versus Rick Story. Who?
I'm going with Story as well.
You're going with Story as well.
Despite Justin's case for Damian Maia.
I'll go with Maia just so that we're just 50-50. I'll stick with Kohi. That's really the only reason I'm picking Maia. I think Story's wrestling might be a little bit of a problem for Maia, but I guess if Chael Sonnen's wasn't a problem for Maia, then maybe Rick Story's won't be. I don't know. Different weight class. Things are going to move a little differently. I don't know. I'll go with Maia. I say he looked pretty good in the Kim fight, although that was just kind of a freak fight altogether.
Yeah, it was.
Phil Davis versus Wagner Prado follows up the Maia Story fight. And, of course, that fight was on... What card was that on where Phil Davis poked him in the eyeball?
Shogun Vera.
Yes. Was it Shogun Vera?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Man. Wow.
We got another savant.
Yeah, wow. I just really... It just seems like, I don't know, my brain is just kind of all...
Or another not high person.
Shut up. I'm not high. I'm just elated with life. Phil Davis, of course, poked Wagner Prado in the eye, and the fight was called. And because of the eye poke, Prado didn't understand the referee, and the referee didn't understand that Prado didn't speak English, and it was just an ugly mess, and he was very, very upset. I don't think I've ever seen a fighter express that much frustration after a fight has been called. Like, usually the guys are like, man, I didn't want the fight to end, and you're like, yeah, you did. You just don't want everybody else to know that that's what you wanted. But he was really pissed about that. So here they go again. Phil Davis, Wagner Prado. I think Prado was actually kind of putting it on Phil Davis during that fight. I'm actually going to have to go with Prado on that one. What do you think, Tommy?
I think Prado's going to poke him in the eye and get disqualified. No, I'm actually going to go with Phil Davis. I think Phil Davis is really good, and I know he lost to Rashad, but I still believe in Phil Davis. I think he's going to do well in the UFC for a while, so I'm picking Phil Davis.
David's going to love that, right, David?
Of course. You have to even ask. And Erica, I'm not angry, but I'm disappointed in you.
I don't know. That Prado fight, it just looked like Phil Davis was
for
not...
For a minute, he was doing all right, but I'm still disappointed in you.
Oh.
I really, really am.
I don't like it when people are disappointed in me.
Totally disappointed.
It's
not
worse.
Angry,
It's
not upset, just disappointed.
It's like we all had that friend whose parents didn't actually like punish them. They just said shit like that, and it seemed to be like 15 times worse than like getting your ass whooped by your parents. Like, my mom is really disappointed in me, and you're like, well,
no, Mom, seriously, give me that beating. I'll take it.
yeah. Like, when they say shit like that, I'm not angry, not upset. I'm just very disappointed in you. And you're like, damn, that is hurtful. That is real hurtful, friend. Real hurtful. I don't know what to say to you.
Maybe you should have taken Phil.
Whatever. What do you think, Coheed? Should I have taken Phil?
Yeah, Phil all the way.
Oh, you
Thank you, Justin.
I'm going with Prado. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance.
I think he's going to get submitted.
You think Prado's going to get submitted?
Uh-huh.
Don't sound so skeptical.
I don't... Well,
he's going to get Mr. Wonderful.
Oh, he's going to get Mr. Wonderful. I would like to see that. I'm looking up his
stats. The Phil Mora.
The Phil Mora. Oh, that was pretty awesome. I'm looking at his fight record. He's mostly known for his striking. He has no submissions on his record. You just assume that everybody's Brazilian. He knows jiu-jitsu, but he's only a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Maybe you're right. Maybe he will get submitted by Phil Davis in this fight. I
find Brazilian fighters to be either one of two things, like really crazy Muay Thai fighters or really, really good at Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. It's not too many of them who are both. So
unless you're Anderson Silva.
I'm alone on this one with Prado, but whatever. I'm sticking with it because I don't want to change my mind. Maybe I'll change my mind when the show's over. John Fitch versus Eric Silva. Eric Silva is a beast, man, and Fitch is Fitch. He's always been Fitch. He kind of just does Fitch, and I don't see him changing anytime soon, which I think is what needs to happen for him to get back to where he was. And I don't know, but Eric Silva, I don't know what kind of takedown defense he has. Tommy, I'm just going to throw this one to you, man. What are your thoughts? I don't know. Silva looks mean, but...
Silva is a beast, I agree, but John Fitch, it's hard to pick against him ever just because, dude, he wins, I mean, it's not fun, it's not exciting, but, he more than not is going to come out on top, so I think he's going to do what he always does, and other than getting knocked out by Johnny Hendricks in like a half a second, but I think he's going to win the fight via decision that's very boring.
Yeah, I'm looking at his record, and he actually. It's funny that we were talking about guys who crazy Muay Thai and then submissions. Eric Silva actually seems to be one of the fighters who has kind of both because he has, submission, KO, submission, KO, submission, KO. So he obviously has KO power, really good submissions. I am not a huge Fitch fan, but I think he may be the smart pick. Is picking John Fitch here. I really don't want to, but I guess I'm going to. Going with the Fitch. What do you think, Cohee?
I'm going Eric Silva.
I like it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things I've continually done this to myself and ended up regretting it, where I've either... It's worked in weird ways with me. When picking Maya, he loses. When I pick Fitch to lose, he wins. Tommy made some great points. Fitch doesn't win pretty, but he wins often. And he's, probably one of the top guys at 170, despite the loss to Johnny Hendricks. I don't know. I do think that Fitch is, I don't know if you guys follow him on Twitter, but I do, and, the stuff that he's tweeting and the interviews he's giving, he's kind of alluding to the fact that he realizes that he needs to be marketable, more exciting, and that sort of thing in order to get that title shot or to get back in title contention. And I think that's a mistake on his end, because I think that's going to cause him to start to question his talents and, make him maybe want to stray away from his wrestling, which is his absolute bread and butter. At the same time, Fitcher's probably still fairly young, but he's fought a lot of fights, and he's fighting a guy, Eric Silva, who just, in his last fight, submitted Charlie Brenneman, who is extremely good wrestler. Brenneman did make him a pretty vital mistake on the ground, but at the same time, Silva had to be smart enough to see that mistake and to, to understand, American wrestling and how it works and how to translate it into his advantage. And I think Eric Silva is going to be a big thing at 170, and I think this is kind of being set up to be a bit of a coming out party for him, and I think it will be.
He's gay?
Of course. Here comes David Wolf. What do you think, Wolf? Do you think it's safe to go with Fitch, or do you think that Silva might really make a statement here?
I think Fitch is a safe pick, but Silva might make a statement. But I'm going with Fitch. It's hard to pick against Fitch. He has, the loss to who knocked him out in 10 seconds?
Johnny Hendricks.
Johnny Hendricks. But aside from that, and his loss to George St. Pierre, this guy just goes out there and wins. And we don't know whether Eric Silva is going to be able to stop the takedown and whether he's going to be able to get back up. So I think the safe pick is John Fitch by decision.
I think I'm going to change my pick. I have time to change my pick. I'm going with Silva. I'm going with
right after I made my point. Wow.
Yeah.
And
no, isn't that because of your point?
I took you out of Fitch. That's interesting.
Now, I think I'm willing to take a risk on this pick and go with and just go ahead and go with Silva. I think.
Now I'm just angry. I'm not even disappointed.
Oh well, I can handle that. If you're going to be angry, that's much better than you being disappointed.
Well, I'm disappointed over the last Phil Davis, but this one just angers me. So I'm both really.
The next fight on the card is Dave Herman versus Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. So we get to see Big Nog back again. Herman is one of those guys. It's frustrating because I think he really legitimately has serious talent as a fighter, but he does not seem to take it seriously, and that's going to be a problem. He hasn't been showboating a whole lot before this fight. We haven't seen him, dyeing his body hair or anything ridiculous like that. But, and I think Big Nog has lost a step. This will be his first fight after getting his arm broken by Frank Mir. So, I don't know. It's almost like a lose-lose situation. I mean, you're going to ask yourself, is Bigfoot going to be able to stop being an old man and actually beat Dave Herman? Yeah. Not Bigfoot. I'm sorry. Big Nog. Sorry.
Okay.
You can't let me be right. You can't just go with the flow. I mean, it would have been totally wrong, but you could have just let me have it for like 10 seconds or something. But no, you just kiboshed it real quick. And Dave Herman, I don't know. Again, he's got so much promise, but he just never pulls through. And I don't think there's anything to say that he's going to pull through this time. I'm gonna go with Big Nog. Only because I have a feeling Dave Herman is just going to disappoint yet again and then end up getting kicked out of the UFC, which I think is what Dana White really wants. What do you think, Tommy? What's your call on this particular fight?
I don't know. It's tough.
I know it's really hard, isn't it?
It is. Like I want to pick. I want to pick Herman. I just Nogueira's. He's getting up there, it's, he's hit and miss. I mean, he beats who he should beat, though. So, I mean, I don't know. But it is going to be in Brazil, and that's another thing I'm thinking about. So, actually, I'm going to go with Nogueira just because it's in Brazil, and I picture him pulling it out there.
Yeah, I mean, Herman is on a 2-fight losing streak to Stefan Struve and Roy Nelson. Both of them are they're either a TKO or a KO. What do you think, David? Do you think there should be some? I mean, Herman really does have that
I'm
potential.
picking Herman.
I like it. I like you picking Herman.
I'm not washed up. Not washed up. You picked America, so I feel inclined to
try and
pick the opposite.
Oh, rude.
Yeah. At this point.
Kohi, what do you think? What is your analysis of this fight, and who do you think is the smart pick?
I don't know if there is a smart pick in this fight. I think all of you have made some really relevant points, and talking about David Herman and the potential and the talent is there, but we don't know if the motivation or the work ethic is there. At the same time, Nogueira has really surprised people, knocking out Brendan Schaub, and then in the fight with Frank Mir, he had Mir rocked. So he still got some pop in his hands, despite being fairly more well known for his ground game. I think this is the toughest fight to call on the card. And I'm not even confident in my pick. I'm picking Nogueira just because I do think the lack of work ethic on the part of Herman is a major factor, on top of the idea that even in his losses, we've never seen him try to transform himself or come back, or heard reports that he switched camps and he's working on this, working on that, and 2 fights in a row he's gotten knocked out or finished via strikes. And I think he'll rock Nogueira and make things interesting, but despite the fact that Nogueira's chin isn't what it used to be, he's still super, super resilient. And if it ends up on the ground, I think Nogueira will submit him anyway. But I think Nogueira's hands are just a little bit better. He's a little bit more resilient and a hell of a lot more motivated. So that's why I'm going to go with Nogueira.
Okay. I do like Herman, though. I just really feel like he can do it. It's frustrating. I don't like being frustrated. I'm disappointed in him. I'm going to write him an email and let him know I'm disappointed in him. The co-main event, Fabio Maldonado versus Glover Teixeira. Maldonado, of course, is replacing Rampage Jackson. I think they should have switched it. I think Herman and Big Nog should have been the co-main event. I don't think Glover Teixeira is big enough name to have him be a co-main event, or Maldonado, but whatever. Who am I? I'm nobody. So
did they not? I thought they did do that.
I'm seeing it now, and MMA Junkie still has Maldonado and Teixeira still as a co-main event, but maybe UFC has it different on their website. I'm scared to go to their website. It's definitely going to play some sort of video. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sure Dog has it. Nogueira Herman is co-main.
Okay, all right. Well, then that's a smart thing. So Maldonado again replacing Rampage Jackson, who was injured in this fight. Injured, and I'm going to use quote symbols for that because maybe the closer the fight got, the more scared he got of Glover Teixeira. Maldonado comes in here on late notice against a very, very tough guy who I think the UFC is seeing as being the next big thing at light heavyweight. I have to go with Teixeira on this. I mean, he's got everything. Well, he's had a full camp. He's a scary dude. Did I mention he's a scary dude? I think I did. He's a scary dude. Tommy, who do you pick him?
Okay, this is going to sound nuts. This is my upset. I think Maldonado's going to knock him out.
Oh.
Everybody is talking about how Teixeira is like the next big thing, and I agree. He looks good, but it's a short notice fight. Maldonado, I know he has not looked good in his past fights, but he is a boxer, and I picture Teixeira trying to swarm on him, and he gets caught with something, gets dropped, big upset, everybody's freaking out. So I'm picking Maldonado to upset him with a KO in the first.
Wow. Wow. I did not see that coming. You blindsided me. You blinded me with science right there, my friend. I don't know what to do. Kohi. I mean, what do you say to that? What do you say to that?
I mean, Maldonado's a tough guy. I will give him that. Like, you look at his record. The dude's never been knocked out. The only times he's been submitted were with knee bars of all submissions. But I think what we saw in the Puck Riots fight with Maldonado is, like, yes, he's a very good boxer, but he gets hit a lot, and has this tendency to get into brawls. And I don't think he fought anybody who hits quite like Glover Teixeira does. Teixeira's a monster. He's a guy that should have been in the UFC a long time ago if he didn't have the weirdo visa issues. This is a guy who knocked out Sokoudjou when Sokoudjou was relevant. I couldn't disagree more with Tommy right now, which I'm sorry to say. I think Teixeira is going to be absolutely monstrous murder session on Maldonado. I think if he takes it to the ground, we've seen Teixeira, in his UFC debut won by submission. He's got submissions. He's good on the ground, and he hits like a truck, and he loves to hit people. And I think he's going to murder Maldonado.
Now I did say it was going to be a flash thing in the first, so if it, like I said, it's an upset for a reason. I'm not saying it's going to be a good fight. I'm saying he catches him early. That's all I was trying to say.
And I get that. I just think you're wrong.
Oh,
all right.
He respects your opinion even if it's wrong. What do you think, Wolf? Are you going to try and step out on a limb here? You're going to go with Tommy?
No, I'm going with Cody.
I like who is
Erica?
this? I'm sorry. Somebody shit, I saw your tweet and remembered you wanted me to call.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
I mean, yeah, I'm going with Cody, and that silenced you. I meant Cody's pick of Glover.
Okay, fair enough.
I wasn't picking Cody to win the fight.
I don't know. Let's son of a bitch. I don't know. I mean, I really was going with Teixeira, but I like the idea of an upset. I love a good upset. I'll stay with Teixeira, but Tommy, I think you get all the kudos in the world for stepping out on a limb here, my friend.
Thanks.
I think the fight, though, to really step out on a
For
limb.
picking wrong, you're giving kudos.
For
willingly picking wrong, I mean, I could do that too. Let's go over to main event. Wait till you see who I pick.
I think the real fight to go out on a limb with is the main event, and that is Anderson Silva versus Stephan Bonnar. It's kind of a crazy way that this fight came together, but when it's all said and done, it is a three round main event. We haven't seen one of those in a while. Between Stephan Bonnar and Anderson Silva at 205 pounds. I think, Stephan Bonnar is a tough son of a bitch. I don't know if we can give him much more than that.
He's going to shock the world.
Do you really believe that, or are you just saying that?
He's going to shock the world. Stephan Bonnar is a big guy. He's coming in there, and he's going to fuck up Anderson Silva. People don't even realize it. Anderson's going to kill him. Come on.
You asshole. I don't know. I mean, you're joking, but the fucking up Anderson Silva part, I think is definitely not to be taken seriously. But he is he's a tough guy. He's a very big guy. He's huge, he's not as technically proficient as Anderson Silva by a long shot, but what he lacks in technique, he makes up for in having a really, really hard head. So I think the chance of Anderson Silva being able to knock him out, I think, are slim. I think this is going to be a 3-round war. I don't think Anderson Silva was counting on this being a hard fight, and I think it'll be a lot harder than what he thought it was. I think Anderson Silva will still win.
That's what she said.
But I think it's going to be a tough fight for Anderson Silva, regardless. Or the new word we made up, which is quasi, semi, dis, irregardlessly. So, what do you think, Tommy? Are you going to step out on a limb again here, or are you going to pick the safe bet, which is Anderson Silva?
No, my last pick was my upset pick. I see it going kind of like you said, really. I think it'll go to a decision. I really think it's going to be good for both of them because Anderson's going to win in front of his home crowd, and I think it's going to be pretty unanimous. I don't think there's going to be any question. I think he's going to kick the shit out of Bonner, but Bonner's going to survive all 3 rounds, and everybody's going to applaud Bonner for being, a tough son of a bitch, and everybody will be cheering their asses off at the end for both of them. And like I said, I think it'll be great for both, and then maybe Bonner will retire or do something else. But I definitely would not pick against Anderson Silva in that fight. No way.
So let me ask, I want to ask this kind of weird question to you, Kohi. I'm going to throw this to you. What happens if Stephan Bonner wins? Like, what happens? I mean, this is fighting, so anything can happen. Anderson Silva can get caught.
That ball should be my uncle.
What happens?
Man, I think that's a tough question. I don't know if the UFC has even considered that. I think if that happens, I think the UFC goes in immediate kind of like, holy shit, we got to clean this up sort of mode. They talk about, maybe something comes out about Anderson being injured, him taking the fight on late notice, didn't have a full camp, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I think with Bonner, you kind of give him, Dana White has already said this, that this is kind of like a Rocky type situation. And I think they use that as a selling point for Bonner. And I think they continue to give Bonner big fights only because, they offered him the fight with Teixeira and said he wouldn't take it because Teixeira didn't have as many Twitter followers as him, something stupid like that. I think at that point, then you go ahead and do Bonner Griffin as the next Coaches on Tough. Obviously, the show's grown about as stale can be. And at that point, you got to do whatever you can to kind of keep Bonner in the spotlight, but not necessarily shoot him up into like title shot contention or anything like that.
Right.
So I think that would be the situation. You make Bonner happy, give him the fight with Griffin and the coaching spot on Tough, where you're saying thank you for putting on this awesome fight or getting this win that no one in the UFC has been able to do. But at the same time, we're going to kind of keep you in the background because if we put you in there with John Jones again, he's going to throw you around like he did before.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I mean,
by the way, I do think Anderson Silva is going to knock him out.
You think it's going to be an absolute like murdering? It's going to be like murder. It's murder.
Murder was the case that they gave me. Yes, I think it's going to be. I don't think it'll be as bad as the Forrest Griffin fight, but I don't think it's going to be much better.
I actually think that Stephan Bonner, and we've kind of already said this, but I really think Stephan Bonner is going to outlast Forrest Griffin by a mile. Forrest Griffin is a goddamn rag doll in the cage once he gets solidly hit. So, Bonner's just tough.
But at the same time, we have to recognize the fact that this was a guy that got hit a lot by Krzysztof Szczerszynski, and he's gone from getting hit a lot by that guy to getting hit a lot by Anderson Silva.
That's true. That's true. I still have him making it out of the first round, which, of course, Forrest was not able to do. Bragging rights. That's what I say. It's bragging rights, friends. All right. I think that's it for us. Is there anything else? That was it. 1:53 is almost 7 o'clock. I think it's time to wrap this bitch on up. I don't know if is there a... That's what she said there anywhere? I don't think so.
I don't really think so.
No? Okay.
Not a good one.
Who wraps it up?
That was good.
That is gross. You're gross. You're really gross. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much to Tommy. Tommy, please plug everything that people can find you on your and when your other shows on when it's live on Crave and the other shows that you have, Tommy Sack and the Q&A, and where they can find them.
Yeah, my regular show, the Tommy Toll Show, is on every Wednesday at craveonline.com/sports. It's usually up around noon West Coast, so just look for it around then on their sports page. My other shows on Tuesdays on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tommy Toll. I do little shorts, so like things that aren't necessarily with me in them, but have to do with MMA, like Nick Diaz and Pulp Fiction. On Fridays, I do a Q&A. That's also on YouTube. And if you want to get into the Q&A, go to my Twitter at Tommy Toehold and drop me a question on Thursdays. Or you can go on my Facebook, facebook.com/Tommy Toehold, and do it there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tommy. We always love having you on here. We were especially...
Yeah, I love coming on. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We're especially crazy today, so I apologize for that.
It's okay.
So again, no show next week, as I will be in Brazil. And, as always, a special thank you to my co-hosts, Justin Cohey and David Wolf. And
you're welcome.
Be sure to check out the asshole. Be sure to check out the new FightFans Radio website. We've upgraded the website. It's now cleaner and leaner, and it's a fighting machine at this point. And it is available on your mobile device and your tablet as well. So enjoy that, people. You're welcome. Don't forget to.
What do we do for you?
Yeah, we did this
you,
for
the
you.
listeners.
Yeah, you assholes.
We love you.
And we got a couple of. We at least have one new show that is going to be starting up on FightFans Radio, probably in the next few weeks. If Gina Morosco from Cage Side Seats can get his shit together, we will be adding Cage Side Seats to the to our list of shows. So we'll be really happy to have that on board. And
fucking shows.
Yeah, who you telling? I'd like to also thank Daniel Delgado, who is he's right now he's kind of our webmaster. He's the one that posts a lot of stuff. I think the past episodes he's been doing a phenomenal job, and he'll be taking on more responsibility with FightFans Radio, so I really like to thank him. And also McKinley Noble, who has been posting mad stories. I gave him access to the website and thought maybe he'd post a story every once in a while, and that mofo posts like 3 or 4 or 5 stories a week. So check out.
Yeah, I want to thank that guy.
Yeah, it's
he is kicking some ass right now. He's writing. Not only is he putting a lot of stuff up there, but it's good stuff.
Yeah, he writes a lot of op-eds, and then he has. There's some what has he called? The best in the division. How do you refer to that? God damn it! Some good shit on there. Just go check it out. God damn it. My brain is fired right now. And so McKinley Noble really like thank him. You can follow him on Twitter, and that is at Ken the Great #1. So it's at Ken the Great 1, and it's the #1. So I'll give him a follow. Pound for pound rankings he's put up on the website recently, as well as the MMA rankings for October. I mean, he's just really got some good stuff up there. And then look out for Cohey's Corner is also on there. He has his own little section. He should be very happy about that. And his UFC.
I was actually pretty stoked to see that, so thank you.
UFC 152, Cohey's Corner is up there, so check that out. And then you are going to have this mega Cohey's Corner coming up soon, right, Cohey, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I figured between the proximity of these smaller shows with the Fuel show last week and then tonight's show, and on top of the fact that I was recently granted off of work on Monday, I figured I would just do one big one for the smaller show. But then I'll and I might do that if there's smaller shows kind of back to back like this. I'll continue to do it that way, but big shows will always have their own Cody's Corner.
Awesome. Sounds good. Sounds really good. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much again to Tommy. We will be back again the following week. And I think that's it for us. So Tune in. What was he? Today's the 5th. Next week the 12th. The 19th, that's right. October 19th, we will be back. Same time, same place. And don't forget to check out our shows on iTunes and YouTube and Stitcher Radio. Download your Stitcher Radio app so you can listen to all of FightFans radio shows on the go. All right, that's it for us. Peace, people.